welcome. These are horse racing selections for Wednesday, the 19th of July. I am Flat Cap Callum and I'm hoping you're all very, very well. All right, slightly relocated to a different studio for today's video. Trying to keep quiet, everyone in the house is asleep. So I shall be trying not make it so long as it often is on a Tuesday night. What have we got to go through? We've got £15 bet for Wednesday, so free. I was trying to speak English. 3 bets. So one, it's not technically a lucky 15 as I've written it, but it basically is. Another lucky 15. It's a UK one, an Ireland one, all in Killarney, and a combination double bet. So £15 first race, 440 Uttoxeter, not everyone's pick. That'll be the first race. It was later on start. I've got to go through performance for Saturday. That was last time we did a vid, which wasn't great. And then we've got comments from Monday and Tuesday. So I can swiftly do that. Monday we had 2 places. One was very close to getting a win, and then we had the last horse in that bet just missed out. So it was 2 places at 4, and then Tuesday's comments were poor. We had 2 6th places when we needed 4th, and then the last 2 were a bit wayward. So yeah, no good Tuesday. I think Monday probably got money back is how I would read it. It slightly depends on what odds you got on those horses. So that's that. And then once I've gone through the bets for Wednesday, as kind of trailed in the comments some of you have seen, I've got an interesting bunch of stats to go through. It started off being a bit of a data research exercise I did at the weekend around, it feels like we've been unlucky, particularly at weekends in some of these big handicaps. It feels like we've had a lot of winners, but we're not getting a lot of return. And so then I went and had a little look, and then I've specifically focused on combination doubles and combination double performance on the flat in 2023. So that's kind of the stats I'm going to go through, but it's quite interesting. And just to make it interesting and creative, I thought for those of you who like a bit of an interest, I'm kind of going to go through some of it in this form of a mini quiz. I'm not literally going to go and get your pens and paper, but for those of you who've been following the channel who want to try and play along, I'll ask you a series of questions based on the channel stats and see if you're anywhere near what the answers are. Because it's a great exercise in, you might feel that something is the case, I'm not here to go, this is what's happened when it hasn't. I'll say how I feel, but I also will go and tell you the absolute accurate data. What does the data say? Does the data say what I think it says, or does the data actually say something completely different? So that will all come afterwards. So yeah, entirely up to you what you do with that, or whether you play along or not. All right, so Saturday was rubbish. Got a little bit back in the evening, but it was a poor day. 40 on, 11.62 back. And if I run down the bets, because I've lost the papers, I'm looking at this going, we had Stonecrafter place in Ireland, My Girl Sue place in Ireland, both at 20s with a channel price originally. Shoebox King won at 15-2, so two places and a win in Ireland, but in different bets. We had What's the Story place in York. We had Emeen win at Chester, and we had Pride of America win at York, all in different bets. And then the evening bet, we had Gustav Graves, Look Back Smiling at Eagle Court, all placed to get a little place treble back in the evening. And so yeah, Pride of America, that's what stepped me off on some of this data, because it was like, how many times have we had this year if we had a decent price winner win one of the big races on a Saturday and then it not convert? I'll tell you the answer towards the end of the video. So that was that. So it didn't finish great last week. So we were 20 quid up going into Saturday, and then we ended up losing nearly 30 quid. So I had the channel stats as down about 12 for last week, which puts us down about 40 for the month, and we're on a run now of the last 4 weeks of being behind £85. So it's building up. We all know it can be a lot worse than that. The channel's been in a worse kind of behind situation. Profitable for the year, but still being propped up a little bit by one particular day. So I really want to get that moving and get those figures looking a lot healthier, and not just be sort of feeling like that's the case. All in all, it's profitable. If you're following what I'm doing, it's profitable. But it won't necessarily be the case for all bookmakers. I'm pretty sure of that. So I want to kind of get ourselves ahead. But again, as I've talked about on videos, particularly last week as well, the first 6 months of last year, we didn't really get much of our head above water until we got to Galway Goodwood. And so I don't want to kind of put all our eggs in basket in Galway Goodwood, because not every festival goes well each year. And as I said a lot of the time last year, I never had it anywhere near as good a Galway Goodwood as I had last year. That was standout best Galway Goodwood I ever had. But yeah, let's see if we can change the profit line to go more like that for this week, and then we won't worry about Galway Goodwood. We'll just have some fun when we get there. All right. I think that's those stats. I'll go through the bets, and then I'll go through the other stats I was going to talk about. The other mention I was going to say actually is the Open Golf is this weekend. So big tournament. The only major that happens in the UK or Ireland. I will be putting some bets out for it at some point tomorrow. Whether it will be on the video or whether it will be in the comments of this video, I'm not quite sure yet. What I will say, won't be any top category bet. It's not a good weekend for it. So the bets I might put out will be outright bets and big prices. There'll be big prices definitely. And then I'll be having a look at maybe seeing if I can do some multiples in like the top 30, top 40 category bets. So yeah, top 30, top 40 finish multiples. Those with the side bets I'll be doing for this weekend. Nothing in the top category, so top nationality stuff. There's nothing, not even a single in there that I'm interested about. All right, so Wednesday. This is I think it's an interesting bet. We'll see. This is my UK bet for Wednesday. This won't be everyone's picks at all. So let me talk you through these. I'm going to give a little bit of a talk over with some of these. Because I want to kind of give a little bit more insight into where I've gone to. So the 440 Uttoxeter will not be a race people look at, and that one I'm specifically looking at the horse, not the race. The next two, I've started at the race and then I found the horse. This one, I'm looking at the horse, and I'll explain why. So the betting market it's not bad. It's a reasonable betting structure in that race. It's a novice handicap chase. It's not normally where you find me playing a game. That horse is one of very, very few I've had on my radar waiting for the specific circumstance of what I've got on Wednesday. Now, that does not say that the horse is going to run well and win or on any of that kind of stuff. I've just had it down as I've been waiting for it to step up in trip, I've been waiting for it to go over fences, and I've been waiting for it to get in a handicap. And that is what we've got. Chuck in the fact there's also blinkers going on that horse for the first time. If it has a sudden jolt of improvement, it could be put down to the increase in distance, the fences, or the blinkers, or all three. So sometimes when horses go from looking like they're zeros to heroes, a trainer or connections need to explain why there is a sudden jolt of improvement. With that horse, it was a pretty decent point-to-point horse in Ireland. It won races in Ireland point-to-point. So that's basically, for unfamiliar, that's before you get into proper national hunt rules racing. Point-to-point is the kind of the budget circuit. And generally they run over 3 miles and they're kind of bigger obstacles. And so you tend to find horses that run well on point-to-point turn out to be decent chasers. That horse was running a series of maidens over hurdles races over 2.5 miles to an inadequate trip, and was so bad it wasn't true. What I've been waiting for is it to come back after a break and give it a go in a handicap chase. And so they're not even giving this a go in a handicap hurdle. If you look at the handicap mark, it's just non-existent. Like it was so far out the weights because it's done nothing over hurdles. But if you compare it to point form, that horse looks absolutely thrown in and could be £20 easy to the good. So I'm not sure. It's a stable where there has been the odd winner. They had a 50-1 winner a few years back, so that, they can have some big uns in there. They're not not a massive stable that's sort of specifically known for gambling or anything like that. It's not the stable that I'm following. it's the form that says when that horse has now got the right conditions, I think it's worth a bet at 25-1. Even though you wouldn't back it anywhere near on the hurdles form. There's also a few others in there that look pretty donkeyish, to be honest, but they may well actually be donkeys. So there's a reasonable talk up there for Garçon d'Argent. If it runs an absolute flop, I won't back it again, but it wouldn't surprise me if it comes back again at some point. Then the 540, that's the race, and I found the horse. So in that race is a brilliant race for each way value, because you've got a very short price favourite. Now, my view of that 540, the short price favourite, forget its name, broadly speaking, is 1-3. That is an outrageous price. Now, that horse should be the favourite for that race. I cannot see how that horse is 1-3 favourite. So my belief is that horse price might actually shorten, so it might grow a little bit. So 1-3, I can see that going up much more like 4-6, generally closer to evens is how I would read that market. I just think 1-3 is just absurd. And if I'm right, if that horse does end up getting a bit closer to evens than 1-3, what you'll find is the rest of the market will shorten, and possibly across the board. Now, this horse doesn't have much going for it. So here we go. Trained by Robert Llewellyn, interestingly, the trainer had a horse over jumps, because this is the only horse he's running on the flat at the moment. He's known as a small stable but jumps trainer. Only horse he's got on the flat, and he had a horse on the jumps in the last couple of weeks. Profile was off a break off January, had done nothing, and it suddenly had a jolt of improvement and went and won a race when it shouldn't have done, but the market moved in its favour. Now, this horse, it's got cheek pieces for the first time. So we have blinkers first time there, cheek pieces first time here. So we've got some headgear going on here. We're coming off a break. That could well be a reason. If you actually look at the maiden novice form, albeit it was on the all-weather, it was actually all right. It's the 2 handicap runs that this horse has done that make it look like an absolute donut. Now, if it goes back to the maiden novice form, that's a much better tell. The other key factor with this one is it's first time running on turf. It's not got loads of obvious stuff in the breeding, but what it does say is that it's bred to be a turf horse. There's not breeding wise says it should be any good on the all-weather. So I think this could be one whereby it goes onto the turf for the first time with cheek pieces fitted, and there's reasons why that horse can run better than it has done previously. So we've got a couple in there in a similar vein, albeit I've been tracking that horse, and that one happens to be a really good betting race, and I found that horse and I think it's worth a punt. All right, 7-10 Yarmouth. With this one we're going good betting heat, and I'm taking a chance on this one. So Zena Colada, it's got good pedigree in terms of it's got some really good siblings. None won first time out, and that is a bit of a negative against it. But pretty much all of them have run and either won or run really well at Yarmouth. So I think that's an interesting thing, because Yarmouth can be a bit of a funny track. So do I think it's going to win on debut? No, but it's got a chance of running decent enough in terms of the standard of the other horses in the race, so I think it's worth chancing. And then we've got a channel favourite, Kitten's Dream, which we've not backed for a few runs. This is possibly, no, I will go as far as to say to you, I think with certain bookmakers, this is the best bet there is out there on Wednesday at those prices. So 365, Betfred, Sky and Unibet are paying 3 places on that 6 runner, and you can get 20s in places, 18s I've got on Sky for Kitten's Dream. That is a brilliant price. That horse is 50-50 to finish top 3. So if you can get 18s or 20s on there, that is an absolute terrific price. It has had a habit historically of running slow. I think it's better at 2 miles, and I think it's better at Wolverhampton. It does sometimes need things to go right for it a little bit, and it's a small field, so I'm not quite sure, kind of how the race is going to be run necessarily. There are horses in there that possibly are better handicapped, but it is well handicapped horse, and at that price on favoured conditions, I don't want to leave it out. So absolutely, just to be clear, I looked at that horse thinking it was 2 places 6 runner, and I was really happy with it. And then when I realised that 4 bookmakers were paying 3 places, so a lot of viewers will be able to get that 365 Betfred, Sky, Unibet. That is a brilliant bet, and a brilliant bet for a single as well. So what I've done with this, I could have done a 15p each way lucky 15 and 15p each way singles on top. I've just decided to write it like this: 15p each way Yankee and 4 times 30p each way singles, just because then it doesn't bet 15p each way single looks very fiddly, albeit 30p's fiddly, but 15p each way Yankee and then 4 times 30p each way singles. If you're using Betfred and you get a bonus on lucky 15s, then definitely do that as a lucky 15 and do 15p singles if you're doing channel stake. That would be the only exception. Otherwise it doesn't really make a difference the way I've done it. 570 is the bet. 365 or Betfred, when you've got bog, are the best bookmakers. Currently at prices, if you were doing this at the time the video goes out, 365 are best for prices. Then Sky and Unibet, you won't get bog on those. Bet 1. Right, the other 2 are quicker, shorter bets. Killarney, alright, so we're going 620, all at Killarney. Zawinacent 14 to 1. That's a listed race, but I think there's quite a few bookies paying 4 on that, and I think that's a good price at 14s for 4 places. It's borderline, being honest, if you're only getting 3 places. I'd still put the bet on, but I'm much happier betting 4th place on that one particularly. 650 Boomerang Bill. We took it the other day when it was a non-runner. I'm taking faith again on that one. 18 to 1. You often find these horses become a non-runner because the connections have found a race they like even better. I think that price is so big it should be single figures. 720 purring along 11s. That was quite a tight call between a few in that one, because you'll see that's in the combo bet. And then the last one, way back on the 6th of October, we took that horse and it won at 25 to 1 for us. And I don't know that I've taken it since. I haven't gone and looked at the detail. I don't feel like I have. I seem to remember as well the connections for that horse have been watching the channel at some point as well, because I remember having a conversation, but I can't remember the name or when. But we backed it on the 6th of October at 25 to 1 and it won. It's not quite got to a mark where I'd be delighted with it, but what I am delighted with is there's nothing else stand out I liked in that race, and 50 to 1's a great price. It's not the kind of horse that's necessarily going to get backed in, so I don't necessarily see it contracting in price, like coming in shorter in price. It will go from the front. It's whether it will stay there or not. But it's done okay before at Killarney, and I think it's absolutely worth chancing at 50s. I think it's really overpriced, so I'd have it more like 20s. So it's not like, you know, even if I'm saying it's 20s, what the chances of it doing really, really well, I'm still saying it's a tricky one, but 50 to 1, some good value. 18p each way lucky 15, and then a 45p each way single, extra single on It's a Long, Long Road at 50s. Sky best, because they are 5 places on, I think all 3 of those actually. Almost all bookies are 4 on all of them. Sky are 5, and then that one, you've got Paddy, 365, Coral, all 4 along with Sky. So they are your next best, because you'll get bog on that and 4th place on that and 4 on all of them. That is bet 2, 630. And then I've got a combo double between my favoured 2 Killarney races. Not say that. I mean, Killarney's not always my friend, so we'll see. 650 Boomerang Bill. We've added in Von Crowlock, which we've taken before, and we follow the connections. 720 Restart, same connections as Von Crowlock. Interestingly, Restart on the 6th of October 2022, when It's a Long, Long Road 1 was also in a bet, lucky 15 bet, with It's a Long, Long Road on that day, but that horse didn't do anything on that day. We've then added in also Faithful Prince at 25s with Purring Along, that's in the lucky 15. 6 times 25p each way doubles. £3 is the bet. Sky best, then Paddy, 365 and Coral are joint next best, because you'll get bog in the morning on those. Alright, that's the £15 plan. Then I'm going to go through now some stats. So if you like the stats, stay on the line. If you're just here for the bets, then I'll see you tomorrow night. Stat-wise, so where do I start? I start with, I had these theories about lucky 50, not lucky 15s, combo doubles. And that's what I wanted to go and look at. And thinking, it feels like after Pride of America on Saturday, it feels like we're a little bit hard done by here. So I went and had a little look, and I just looked at for the flat season, for this flat season, so from 29th of April I'm taking that, so that's when the flat started back in. If I looked at all combination doubles that I did in that period of time, how many combination doubles start off with? How many combination double bets have I done? Just flat, so not flat jump combination, just flat. And it could be Ireland, UK, and it could be all weather. But how many flat combination doubles have I done where I'm taking 2 and 2, or 2 and 3, or 3 and 3, or 2 and 4? What combinations? How many have I done? What's your answer? The answer is 43. 43 combination doubles. Next question. Of those 43 combination doubles that we've done this season, how many have we hit 2 winners? Out of 43, how many have we hit 2 winners on the flat since 29th of April? The answer is 0. We haven't hit any 2 doubles. We've never hit the win double this season on the flat. We have hit doubles in the past, not the flat, not this season. We've hit lots of place doubles along the way, and that will pay itself over, but we've not hit any win doubles. Of 43 doubles, how many of those 43 have we had a winner in one leg? So out of the 2 selections, it's usually 2 and 2, sometimes 2 and 3, sometimes 3 and 3. How many of those 43 bets have we had a winner in one leg? The answer is 21. So we are tracking 48% on those bets. 48% of a combination doubles I put out on the channel for the flat this year to just this year, we are tracking one winner. Now, if you combine that, right, so that's 48% of those. 48%. So if you break that down and you go, okay, so if that's 48%, so 24% of the time in those bets you're hitting a winner. So we're hitting the winner 24% of those times. Yeah, over 43 of those bets, we haven't actually hit 2 winners together, but we are hitting a winner one time. So 21 out of 43 times. I was like, that's blown my mind. 21 out of 43 bets. And bear in mind, almost all of those 21 horses were put up at a double figure price. We're not talking about small ones. I'm not talking about win doubles either, win double, combo doubles, all the each way ones I've done. So 21 out of 43 of them we've hit a winner, and never have we hit in those 43 a winner in each leg. I'd say that's pretty unlucky. Statistically, that is very, very unlucky. Now, if I broke that even further, I was looking specifically at Saturdays. So next question. On Saturdays, how many, since the 29th of April, how many combination double bets on the flat have I done on a Saturday since the 29th of April? The answer is 12. So I think there's been 12 weeks, and 2 weeks didn't do a bet. So it did do bets, but didn't do combination doubles, and 2 of the weeks we did 2 bets. So that's 12 combination doubles on a Saturday, just flat. So with some of them, there's a couple where I've done flat and jumps. I didn't record those for the stats, just the flat ones, just on Saturdays. 12. How many of those 12 have we had a winner in one leg on a Saturday? The answer is 10. 10 out of 12 Saturdays, combination doubles, we've hit a winner. On the 2, we didn't hit the winner. In the first leg, we had the horse that was second. I'd say that's pretty unlucky. 10 out of 12 bets, we've had the winner in one leg, and in 8 of those 10 occasions, it was the first leg, and it was the 2 seconds in the first leg. So statistically, that blew my mind. So just put this out there for you. So this is the roll call. So if you go back, 29th of April, Dundori at 10s. Then we had the 7th of June, chairman of the board was second at 12s. These were the price I put up, not the necessarily if they had Rule 4s or whatever, or SPs. 13th of June, far too shy at 28s. 20th of June, we had Bear Force 1 at 18s and Scottish Summit at 12s, but 2 different bets. Then the 3rd of July, we had Novello at 14s, Warrior Brave originally at 25s, but if you remember, I took 12s for the channel because the price came in. 2 separate bets, 2 winners. Dutch Decoy was second on that weekend at 17-2, and then the last 4 weeks in a row, all middle to long distance handicaps. Burdett Road at 20s, Calling the Wind at 14s, Wootton Sun at 18s, Pride of America 22s. I'd say well, it depends on how you look at it. In one ride, you go, some pretty good tipping on a Saturday. 10 out of 12 combination doubles hitting a winner at a double figure price. So the two short ones, interestingly, 17 to 2 and 12 to 1. 10 to 1 winner. So all these winners were 12 to 1, 10 to 1 or more. Thought that was some really interesting stats to go through with you. I was it made me feel a bit sick, to be honest. I went and looked back last year. I was like, I'd literally looked for the whole of the flat season on Saturday. We didn't have 10 winners in the combination doubles, but yeah, in the last 12 weeks, I've done 12 of those bets on a Saturday, and 10 times I've had a winner in one leg and not the other, and 8 of those times it was the first leg. So 8 times we've had a winner on a Saturday this year, going on to the second leg and getting either nothing back or one place back. Incredibly frustrating. So good tipping and poor luck is how I describe that. You can interpret that however you choose to interpret that, but that's how I'm looking at it. All in all, that doesn't help us because we haven't won profit and loss. The other thing I was going to go through with that actually is from a stats point of view. My spidey sense says there was a much better record in middle distance races than there was the sprint races. And when I went and looked at it, what I found was we got Pride of America, a mile and a quarter. Wootton Sun, 2 mile, mile and 3. 2 miles, mile and 2. 6 furlong exception, and it's the only one in Ireland. 5 furlong, that was the only 5 furlong, and then again you go mile, or maybe I think one of them was 7 furlongs, something like that. But genuinely, when I broke it down, what it said is statistically, it's the 6 and 7 furlong races are the ones that let me down. So I haven't had a winner of UK handicap on a Saturday on a 6 furlong one in a combo double. So statistically speaking, the middle distance ones are better. What am I going to do with that? I'm just going to keep an eye on it, to be honest. And I want to do a little bit more data across the whole of kind of since the channels began to see how that looks. But what that period of data says to me is that actually my strike rate on mile upwards is far superior than it is on 6-7 furlong sprints, particularly in the UK. So why do I think that is? Am I better at picking middle distance? I think the form holds up slightly better. You're less prone to pace bias, and you're less prone to issues in running because it's not a sprint, and you're less prone to draw bias. That would all be my hunches, but I need to go and have a look at the data and see how much that tracks up and follows through. But hopefully that little stat session was fascinating. All right, I'm going to leave it there and go to bed. Thank you very much. I'll be back tomorrow night, probably be late again, for Thursday's selections. All right, thank you very much. Bye-bye.